Hey everybody, Syntax77 here. Hope everybody had a nice holiday season. Here we are, fresh new year, 2018, and I can't think of any better way to start things off than with a new edition of
Mail, mountains of it. It'll be a red letter day when the postman blows mail call.
And what do you know? Despite the long lines at the post office, I battled through them, and it's a good thing I did because I got a pretty nice collection of stuff here. So, as usual for mail call, I go through some viewer mail, usually sticker requests, some occasional packages, maybe some backpacking or adventuring products that'll spur some conversation, and as I like to do now, I'm also going to spin through some viewer comments on the old YouTube channel and get some conversation going that way. So first things first, let's open up a couple of these letters here. This one is from John in Florida. What do we got here? Self-addressed stamped envelope that I will be sending a sticker back in. Actually, looks like John in Florida forgot the stamp, but that's okay. I think I got one laying around upstairs. But yeah, do remember to put the stamp on there, and I'll send you a sticker back. And nice note, have you ever thought of hiking the Florida Trail? I've had a few people suggest going down to Florida. You do seem to have some dangerous animals, or should I say reptiles. I was actually just talking to my friend Mike about this the other day. There's some severe, crazy hiking down there, right? In Florida? I mean, where you'd be like up to your waist in a marsh somewhere with snakes and crocodiles, or is it alligators? Which one do you have? Some sort of large dinosaur thing attacking you. It's December 19th and 68 degrees. Wow. Well, right now, John, it is, I don't know, I haven't looked today. It's in the teens here in Delaware on the old mid-Atlantic. It's quite cold recently. I'm going to talk about it later, but I'm going to do a winter trip solo style before I do a trip with my friend. But we'll get into that. P.S. If you ever want to hike and whitewater raft, now there's a whole nother thing, on the same trip, let me know. P.S. Base camp and beers provided. Very cool. Thank you, John. Two things I have not done, but you never know. And as far as whitewater rafting goes, I haven't done that either. The only water kind of trip I've done was a canoe camping trip that I did a video on at this point, a few years ago? Yeah, something like that. And that was in West Virginia. No, I'm sorry, it was in Virginia, like Shenandoah area. And we did a canoe trip for 3 nights, 4 days. That was fun. Not the same as whitewater rafting, I know. But who knows? You never know what will happen in the future. So I'll keep those things in mind. And this one is from Sean and Ginger in Kentucky. It says on the back here, save the contents for a mail call video. LOL. And Merry Christmas. Thank you. Merry Xmas to you too, Sean and Ginger. Oh, is it a Christmas card? How nice. Merry Christmas. May the winter winds bring happiness and fun to you during this most magical season. And there's a whole card there. Thank you, guys. Look at that little panorama of fuzzy animals having fun in the woods and a little mushroom on back. I know they got some weird cow pastures down there in Kentucky, so I won't pass any judgment. Thanks, guys. And there's an envelope with a stamp, so I'll send you guys a sticker as well. Next up, we'll knock out the boxes here, and then I'll get into some viewer comments and perhaps an update on Carol for those of you who've been following. I don't know. Not to draw things out, but she may have commented again. It's quite fun. Let's open this smaller one here. The return address says Lucid Skis in Maine. All right, let's see what we got. Gotta work out more. All right, it says Syntax, longtime watcher of your YouTube channel. Thank you for the many hours of entertainment. We just got started on our own channel to help get our skis out there. Oh, a ski channel, cool. And it's a ton of work. As a thank you, here is a trucker hat to enjoy. And that's from EJ, owner of Lucid Skis up in Maine. Awesome, I love Maine. Ooh, this looks fancy too. Oh, you guys are professional. Put a little bag in there to keep it shaped. I guess I better switch hats right now. I got my fancy Jeep hat here. Not to do any foreshadowing for the channel or anything. But let me swap that out for this. Look at this thing. Lucid Skis Hat. This is actually a nice looking hat, man. Thank you. It's even got a little pattern on the inside. Adventure is everything. Right on. All right. Look at that. It's already pretty much sized for my head. I don't know. How's that look? Looking pretty good? Is that okay? All right. There we go. I got my new hat from Lucid Skis. And he said he's starting a YouTube channel, but I would totally plug it for you, buddy, but it doesn't say. But search Lucid Skis and see if they have a YouTube channel. I don't know. Maybe some outdoor ski videos. I would be willing to check that out. So thank you, EJ. Much appreciated. Next up is a giant box. It says Merry Christmas on it. And it doesn't look like a company name on it. Let's open it up and see carefully. This thing's huge. Almost there. Oh, there's another layer of tape. That is fancy. Whoever sent this, which we're about to find out. Thank you. It's quite festive. Open with Sara and Denali. And this one says open last. What I'm going to do is I'll do some viewer comments right now, and then we'll magically fast forward to later after work when Sara is available. So let's go to my app here and see if there's any comments that would make for good conversation about backpacking, hiking, camping, or just travel, adventure, etc. Here's one on my snow shovels for winter camping and backpacking, which was a couple videos ago for me where I talked at length for about 15 minutes about snow shovel options. And this person says, do you have any recommendation for snow gloves? I'm trying to get into winter hiking, backpacking, looking for a good pair. I tried hiking at 13 degrees the other day and my fingers were in unbearable pain within 15 minutes. Yeah, so what I've been doing, it's a shame, I was just using them today. And speaking of the Iceland trip we just went on, it was real cold and wet the last time we went. So I got a pair. I invested in a pair of something called brand called Sealskins. They're like a black. I believe they're made out of nylon. They're breathable, but they're still water resistant, and they do offer some insulation. And I've been using those. I took them on that trip. Although by themselves, I would say below 30, it's getting a little dicey. If depending on your activity level, my hands will start to get cold in those. But they keep your hands nice and dry, which a lot of times I have these big fluffy gloves, but then when I do camp chores and stuff, my gloves get wet, and that's no good. So I got these so that when I'm doing chores and stuff and I'm more active, even though they don't seem to go down too cold in temperature, I'm thinking if I'm going around camp doing chores, my body temps up anyway, and this way they'll be nice and dry. At least that was my idea. Now, when I'm not moving around as much or doing quite as intensive chores that require dexterity, then I would say my biggest tip is over mittens or over mitts or whatever you want to call it. I have a pair. They're down here. Let me show you. Here we go. So this is the mitten. Now when I first got it, it actually came with an inner glove as well. I think I melted those by accident on a trip one time, unfortunately. So these have like a soft fleece lining on the inside of them, and it's a mitten, so it's just a thumb and all your fingers are in here, right? I don't have to describe what a mitten is, but the point is this is actually a solid outside and a little bit heavier rubber here. These are by EMS, and I think they're called like the Ascent series. They have all different grades with different levels of insulation. The cool thing about this is it'll keep your hands nice and dry because it's got this impermeable, therefore less breathable of course, but barrier on there. Obviously, I'm losing dexterity, but I'm keeping my hands a lot warmer because all my fingers are together in there. Plus, I also can wear another pair of gloves inside of this. So look into over mitts or a system that already comes with gloves and mittens. That's really going to, I think, save your hands around camp, and you won't be quite so miserable, hopefully. And again, this is when you're not doing chores. Now, I've had this system down to negative 25. If I knew it was going to be negative 25 for extended periods of time, would I say definitely go with this? No, I'd probably invest a little more in an insulated one, but this one's not so bad. And like I said, all it has is just like a fleece, almost like the liner that would be on fleece line hiking pants. I have a pair of those as well inside there. The only thing that's a little annoying is sometimes when you do what I just did, it's a little hard. It gets inside out and you got to mess with it a little bit, but then it's good to go. So check that out, the mitten option. And then on the inside, my mom actually just got me for Christmas some surplus, it's either Army or Air Force, but surplus military wool gloves, just gray wool gloves. I don't know how much you paid for them. It was a gift, but I bet you they weren't terribly expensive because they were surplus. So check something like that out. And those, now wool still works well when it's wet, but I would still avoid getting it wet. And like I said, pop it right in this mitten and you got your water protection. If you need a little more dexterity, you can use them. And then if you're doing chores, go with something like a sealskin, or there's some other ones out there that look like kind of like rubber gloves that don't breathe at all, but they keep your hands really dry and insulated at the same time. That's kind of my tips on that. And then of course there's a whole nother world of maybe they have some at this new ski shop I learned about. There's a whole world of ski gloves and snowboarding gloves, stuff like that, that are insulated and water resistant yet breathable, so you can check that stuff out too. But yeah, that's my quick thoughts on that. Hopefully that was kind of helpful to you. Next up, the whites are outstanding in winter but are definitely a challenge. You got to keep coming back up there and try to finish the 48 4,000 footers. One of these days. Lots of questions asking what kind of camera Sara uses, particularly after we posted that video with all the shots of the northern lights. And I will tell you right now, if you're interested, anybody out there, it's a Panasonic GM1. It's actually what I'm filming on right now. I usually film on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, but right now, video like this, I'm actually filming on Sara's camera. So yeah, Panasonic GM1, and the glass that she had on there 90% of the time was a Laowa 7.5mm f2.0. That let her get really good shots, wide shots of the sky and the atmosphere and the northern lights. And then on top of that, f2.0, just without going into a whole nother spiel of things, the lower the f-stop, or the lower that f number, the more efficiently, or I should say the more light the camera lens is letting in, therefore brighter shots under darker conditions. Or in her case, you have to do long exposures. We were doing like 20 to 30 second shots on a lot of those northern light shots. The longer you leave your exposure open, and there's all kinds of math to figure it out, but there's a maximum time before you start getting those star trails, which sometimes looks cool, but a lot of times you don't want that. With the lower f-stops, you're getting a brighter image, so you can do shorter exposures. So basically that gave her the ability to get a nice, bright, properly exposed shot before the star trails started kicking in. And then, of course, that does affect depth of field and all that, but that's a story for another day. So yeah, that's what Sara's using. Someone said on the Iceland video, should have made the trip into 3 parts since it's a 5-day trip. No, it was supposed to be a 5-day trip. I wish it was a 5-day trip. It ended up being a 3 days trip, 66-hour trip, right? Here's actually a good one, and I think it probably describes a lot of people out there. This is from that same Iceland video, by the way. JC says, I've got to say, I get a little bummed when you post vids like this and you're not wearing a backpack. I'm a follower from your backpacking videos. I clicked on this fully intending not to watch it at all, and only did so thinking I might get an idea from it for maybe a long road trip to a future backpacking destination for myself. Like, when do I ever plan to go to Iceland? Then he goes on to say, I watched the whole thing. This video was awesome, Sean. All right, then he goes on to compliment me. I won't toot my horn or anything, but thank you. He appreciates the videos. I can't imagine the deep sigh of relief you must feel once a video like this is finished. Yes, that's very true. Awesome, man. Hope I run into you on the trails, but you're going to have to start revisiting some of your past sites for that to happen, because you're getting too far past my skill to catch up. I doubt it, man. I'm not quite as skilled as it may look on the videos. But anyway, thanks, JC. That was cool. And I think you speak for a lot of people, although they don't actually maybe click the video and actually give it a chance. And then I did respond to it. I've already responded, so I'll read that as well. And I said, thanks for giving it a chance. I'm glad you enjoyed it. This trip was an amazing adventure, and ultimately that's what has always inspired me to create these videos. Putting yourself in unique situations and seeing what happens, regardless of the weight on your back. That being said, a classic backpacking vid is next on the itinerary. And that's true. It's coming up soon. I'm going to do a solo trip somewhere for winter, followed by a trip with Mike, I hope, if I can pin him down. But yeah, I think that pretty much, I already said it in that comment, but this channel ultimately started out as, and will continue to be, it's about adventure. A really effective way for myself to find adventure and put myself in unique situations is backpacking trips. Particularly backpacking trips where I have to drive kind of far and I have a smaller time frame. Gives me a little challenge. I like stuff like that. But on top of that, you know, there's other ways to put yourself in the way of adventure and still see amazing outdoor things. And one of those things is world travel, or just travel throughout the country. And yeah, no apologies. I found myself getting pretty excited about and into traveling the world when the opportunity presents itself and seeing cool stuff. And of course, if there's an outdoor edge to it, all the better, which for the most part, yeah, I've done. When we went to Ireland, we did some cliffs and coastal stuff. When we went to Costa Rica, we did the rainforest. When we went to Iceland, of course, we did waterfalls and glaciers and all of that. So there's a lot of different ways to see the world. Whether or not you have a backpack on or not, I think that's worth noting. And thank you, JC, for bringing up that topic and for giving that video a chance. This is on the pocket chainsaw, little pocket chainsaw. I have one right here. If you're not familiar with the pocket chainsaw, this is it. I've got a whole separate video on it. I guess that probably is obvious because I'm about to read a comment from that video. But this is a pocket chainsaw. You hold it in your hands, go back and forth, get a good workout. It's an alternative to a more traditional camping saw like this one here by Coleman that I use sometimes as well. This is actually Mike's. I think I stole this years ago and I've never given it back. But anyway, he says about the pocket chainsaw, not all are created equal, which equals more work and less efficient cutting. The one from Canadian Shield Camping is the cutting edge. I'm thinking he means has a cutting edge on every chain length instead of every third, as I see in the video. For the most part, though, they really do all seem similar. And now that he mentions it, yeah, so there's these links here, and I got a blade, skip, skip, a blade, skip, skip, a blade, and on. So the one he's talking about has it on every single link. Also, the Canadian Shield Camping one has teeth on both sides. Both pulls get a cut, not just one. I've been skeptical of these forever. Seems like a lot of work for what you get for a simple silky saw. From a simple silky saw? The silky saw type of saw? Or is he just describing a really smooth saw? I don't know. But yeah, I go back and forth on it. I mean, this one is really compact and lightweight. It's about 4 ounces, I think, or something like that. But this honestly isn't that much heavier, and it's pretty small. And I do find it is less fatiguing probably a lot of times to just take this and saw, you know, a small dead branch that you want to cut up into smaller, more manageable chunks. But this one, there's situations where you can really, like on a fallen tree that's laying kind of almost on the ground, but there's a section that's in the air a little bit. If you can slip this guy up underneath of there and stand over top of it, you can get some angles on it that you wouldn't necessarily achieve quite the same with this. I don't know. There's two different ways, many different ways to skin a cat. But if you guys have thoughts on that, an ideal camp saw out there, I think these styles seems to be pretty popular. If you know of a brand besides Coleman that maybe I should check out, let me know in the comment section below. Here you go. Annie Ford says, what first attracted you to Iceland? I have a couple of friends who've gone there and suggested that my husband and I embark on the adventure. I'll be totally honest. What first attracted me to Iceland was I have for a long time now, it's a hobby of mine to keep an eye on flight prices and just look for deals. And usually I use like ITA Flight Matrix, or for the most part, to get started, I'll use skyscanner.com, and I just search literally from a handful of airports that are near me departing, and I do 2 everywhere, and I do a search time frame of any time. Show me the cheapest month. And sometimes that yields some cool results. What happened was they popped up for like 200 and something bucks on a list of places, and I said, wow, it's right out of Baltimore, it's cheap. That's honestly what first attracted me to it. Not the most flattering to Iceland, but the fact that we went there is because after seeing the great flight price, I started researching a bit more on Iceland and looking at photos and things to do, and it just really caught my attention. We ended up going there, fell in love with the place. Culturally, it's just a really cool, interesting place. I think the language is super complex, and I can't even pronounce anything basically, but I think the language is super cool, and just the history behind the whole island itself. The conditions change rapidly, just almost reminds me of New Hampshire in a way, where the weather is just so unpredictable and changes all the time. And then on top of that, you got waterfalls randomly all over the place, and the glacial situation, ice and fire, and it's crazy. That's what attracted us to Iceland, was just the adventure of it. And we went, and like I said, we loved it, and that's why we went back again. All right, I think that's a decent amount of comments for this episode of Mail Call. Now I'll fast forward to Sarah and I and Denali. See what's in this box.
Where's Santa Paws? Did Santa Paws come? Where's Santa Paws?
All right. So, as long as you can avoid hitting the mic with your tail, I know you can smell that there's something in this box. This says, open with Sarah and Denali.
Yeah.
See?
Ooh.
Just wanted to take the time and say thank you for all that you've done through your channel. I enjoy all the content and appreciate the time and effort you take for us, the viewer. Also, thank you for responding to my comments throughout social media. It's nice to have interaction with you as you provide us with such entertaining content. Hope to see you on the trail sometime. That's from Dwayne, a.k.a.
Yeah,
Humat.
that was the one.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Sarah got a heads up from somebody that a
Yeah.
Christmas gift was coming?
Thank you.
So here it is. I'm sure you'll recognize some of the items as your greatest hits, in quotes, and a few new ones as well. Hope you,
Wine.
Sarah, and Denali have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Dwayne. You rock.
Is this why you were still...
Yeah.
Oh, man. This is like the greatest hits of the channel here.
I love
What's that, Denali? This is all the wares to make trail pizza on a stone. You got your Mama Mary's pizza crust. So in the Catskills video, we brought these pre-cooked crusts that you just heat up on a rock and put some pepperoni and cheese on. So there's some pepperoni.
the good stuff.
Thanks,
That is
Dwayne.
awesome. The backpacker's
Look
dinner.
at this.
Look. They all have
Oh,
labels.
they got labels.
I love it.
The pizza sauce?
Yeah, the bubbly.
Yeah, you got to put the pizza sauce on. Uh-oh, Denali, this is for you, buddy. Denali's hiking treats.
Yeah.
Bones.
You want one?
Oh, boy.
Do you want one or something?
You know what that is.
What are you going to do for this? The little labels are so great. Look how cute they are. Yay! Say thank you, Dwayne. Show them. Show them. Show them. Okay.
He's going to go eat that somewhere now. Oh, my goodness.
Is that queso?
This is queso,
Oh,
otherwise known as cheese dip.
Goodness.
A backpacking appetizer.
You know what this means.
We got to have queso.
No, we got to go on a trip.
Oh, we do have to go on a trip.
Do you
and
want to
bring
go on a
this.
trip? This is so great.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had this kind. There's
Woohoo.
nothing like hiking with some boxed wine. This is a perfect size one, too.
It'll fit right in my side pouch.
Fandangi. Pinot Grigio.
Syntax's grape juice.
See?
Woohoo.
Grape juice. It's already labeled. So, Sea Ranger, it says grape juice.
It's grape juice. We should just start labeling all of ours.
Oh, man. Man, you thought of everything.
What?
What Sarah wished she had in the Catskills.
Yes.
You got to bring this now.
I do.
You can put it a little bit in a bag. Keep it weight conscious.
No, I'm just bringing this whole thing.
Oh, there you go. It is
because
labeled.
it's labeled. What?
That is smart.
Yes. Woohoo.
A bag of scoops.
Yes.
Backpacking appetizer. There it is. Got to
Oh
have
my
scoops for the
gosh.
queso. Now we're in good shape.
Woohoo. This is so great.
You have done your homework, Dwayne.
Sure have.
It is apparent. As mentioned
Watching our jams.
the cheese for the pizza.
I'm labeling, putting it all up here. This is so beautiful.
We're definitely going to have to do a trip and use all of this.
All of this.
Sarah's grape juice.
I hope there's like 12 more. Yeah. Because
Dinner condiment. Cheese. I don't think we did that before either, did we?
Look how tiny it is too. It's perfect.
Yeah, I don't think we brought cheese, shaky cheese before, so we're all hooked up.
It's
So
much
for those of you out there who haven't done it before, making this pizza on the trail is pretty awesome. And if you don't want to go the rock route,
No, you should. You should.
You
always go
should,
rock
but you
route.
could always bring a little backpacking fry pan that fits.
That's true.
And I'm pretty sure the one we have over there would fit one of these perfect. And you could toast it up on a fry pan, and you can make your pizza that way. It's really fun.
But go the stone route.
But the stone
because
route is
it's
awesome.
fun.
You just heat a stone up right in the coals to your fire.
Because
and
when
you're
else
good
can
to
you
go.
say I made pizza on a stone? The festive, what are these called? Dooblies?
Festive dooblies.
Festive dooblies.
Look at that. Now
Making
we're
it rain,
festive.
Nana.
Yes.
Making it rain.
Well, thank you, Dwayne. That is
Dwayne.
awesome. And that was a nice little walk down memory lane.
Yeah.
If you don't get the reference, check out the Catskills pizza hike video. I'll put a little link to it up here.
Bloop.
Check that out. It's a fun time. Little blend of hiking and trail food, trail cooking.
Yes.
I checked to make sure you had one in Wilmington. Post-hike burger is what it says on here.
Do you already know?
I can tell what that
What
says.
is it? Let's go. We still need to eat dinner. Let's go now. Bye, guys. Yeah.
We do like a good burger on this channel. Five Guys.
Woohoo!
That is a place that we have around here and a lot of other places. I think it's spreading out. I don't know if it's only on the East Coast. Oh, Sarah's
We
done.
gotta go on a hike. Get my backpack.
We'll talk about Five Guys and the history of it later. I also brought up before that I need to do a solo backpacking trip, and I can't figure out where yet. If anybody has an idea for a winter solo trip that's driving distance, so let's keep it under 700 miles, please.
Like Belize or like Greece.
No, driving on the East Coast of America.
Oh, like really warm with a bathing suit.
Nope. Backpacking. Don't worry, you don't have to go on this trip.
But like you could bring a backpack to these warm places like Dominican Republic. No.
Yeah, you guys can suggest that all you want, and we might go, but it wouldn't be quite the same trip. That would be a travel video, which some of you like. This is going to be a backpacking video, which some of you like. A little bit of something for everybody. So if you have any suggestions for me, let me know. I've gotten, Nolly, that's the microphone. I've gotten a lot of cool suggestions out there before, and I'm in the process right now of sifting through all of those. So even if you told me before, feel free to remind me again, and I'll go back and search your comments or emails or however you contacted me. Appreciate that. Right now, I think it's time to go.
Five Guys.
Yeah, I think our dinner plans just changed
No, just
tonight.
kidding. We'll save it for a trip.
We'll save this for post-hike burger after the whole trip is set on food here. So thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, everybody out there. Until next time, I'm Syntax77. That's Denali. That's my lovely life.
Thank
Sarah,
you again.
And
You're the best.
Have fun out there.
And eat burgers.
Yes.
And do trips. And stay warm. Stay classy, kids. Stay hood, people. Stay woke? Is that what the kids are saying these days? Is woke a thing? I feel like woke's a thing. Nolly, stay woke.
She gets weird when she... Are you hungry?
Yeah.
All right, let's eat there. Perhaps an update on Carol.